Hey
Hey
guys,
guys.
welcome to part one of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Um, so I'm Emily,
I'm Katie.
and we're gonna start off by asking a question. Um, so do you want to ask a question?
I don't know what question because it's like we haven't started discussing yet. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions when it comes to part one of this book.
yeah, I guess I would say like, who do you think did it? And like, or like of all the suspects we have right now, who do you think is like most likely to have done it?
Mm,
Or all of her theories, because she has like these couple of theories that I guess we'll get to later of
mm-hmm.
like what happened and like which one you think is the most like accurate. You think?
Personally, my gut is telling me Jason.
Really?
Yeah, Andy's father. I
Yeah.
feel like I don't know if he like actually did it,
It's like
but
an accomplice or something.
yeah, like I think he knows about it and he's not telling anyone about it because he's trying to um hide his butt.
Yeah. Can't say anything more than that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, I'm not sure honestly, like I know there's a lot of things going on and there's a lot of like suspects, but I feel like it's someone that we're not gonna expect. Like at first I was like, oh, maybe Naomi because she was acting a little, little
Suspicious.
suspicious and like her whole like interview thing with Pippa was so weird and like
It was.
off-putting. I was like, hold on, this is not like this is a little weird. So I don't know, maybe she has something to do with it. If it was like jealousy or something like
Mhm.
that. But I guess we can get into the whole, I guess like chapters and stuff now.
Yeah, so if you haven't read this book, I suggest you read it.
Yeah,
It's actually like it's one of those books that like really gets you to read it because like
yeah,
you know those books that you were like forced to read and you're like, ugh, this is boring and stuff
yeah,
like that. But this book is not that. It's like
yeah,
you really want to read it. Yeah,
yeah,
so it starts with the main character named Pip, or Pippa is her full name,
yeah,
and she's doing a capstone project like us, which I find so interesting.
yeah.
That was
It
like,
was like fate that we saw this book.
yeah, like okay, quick story time. So
Okay,
me and Katie and Jasmine, we went to Barnes and Noble to get a book in order to do a podcast, obviously. And we're just going through, and then we picked up this book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And then Jasmine flipped through the pages, and the first page that she landed on was like a capstone login. And we were like, oh my god, we have to do this because like it's a
yeah,
capstone project, and we're doing one.
yeah,
Yeah, so that was really cool.
yeah. And then we got Starbucks after.
Yeah, and we sat for like 2 hours.
Yeah. No, but those refreshers are so good, but they're so expensive.
They are like ew.
Yeah, Starbucks should definitely sponsor us
Literally,
because they should
please. I
because
need.
Starbucks is too expensive.
It's like $6 for a drink.
Yes,
That's
and now
ridiculous.
if you ask for like less ice, they're gonna charge you for it. If you ask for light ice,
That's
yes, they're charging you an
stupid.
extra dollar. Anyways,
um,
so
yeah, so
um,
Pip is doing a capstone project about a case that happened like 5 years ago, and this
yeah,
all took place in Fairfield, Connecticut.
I think it's like Fairview, right?
Fairfield, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah. And yeah, so she's reinvestigating this case because it's just very strange. It's a very like it's a case that like leaves you unfinished.
yeah, because everyone just assumed, like, I guess they found Sal guilty. So basically, the story is that everyone believes, like, what happened is that Sal Singh and Andy Bell, they were dating, and then Andy Bell went missing, and then a couple days after that, Sal committed suicide. So then when they were investigating it, they found Sal guilty of killing her, but they never found her. Like they never found her, and or they never found like her body or something. She was just like went missing, and then like a couple years, or I don't know how long after, but a little while after, I guess they just determined her dead because if you're only missing for so, I guess she just was missing for so long, and then all the evidence kind of pointed to Sal killing her. So
Hmm.
they were like, oh, okay. So I guess she,
Yeah, she went poof. She was like, bye.
yeah, she just literally just pieced out from the town, never came
Yeah.
back. So I guess they just thought she was dead. But and it's just weird. That's like what everyone believes. But then it's like there's so many other factors, and every person that Pip talked to, which I guess we'll get to, is like they always said that he was so nice and like that they never like in a million years thought he would kill someone and even
Mhm.
like kill himself because it was like he was just so happy and he was so nice and he was like a morning person, which is like who is a morning person unless you're like the
Not
happiest
me.
person on earth. So it's just like I don't know.
And I feel like the police didn't really put enough effort into this case
Yeah.
because there's always a rule that they follow. It's like it's always the lover, it's always the husband, it's
Yeah.
always the love interest. But like I mean, yeah, they did a little bit of investigation and like, interviews. But like once they see that like Sal killed himself, they were like, "Yep, he did it."
Yeah. And there's a lot of things involved too. Like even when she talked to that like in the beginning, I don't know, it was like chapter 1 or chapter 2 when she talked to that journalist and
Mhm.
he was just like super rude and like he didn't
He was
if
a
you
racist.
yeah, and if you believed it, if you looked at all the evidence and your opinion was like, you know what, I think he did it, I feel like that's completely valid. But he just like was like, oh, he did it because of like his race and like that was the only reason. And like
Mhm.
he's like and he was saying things like his like people and I was like, oh my gosh, like oh, this is like a
It's
chill
just
down your
it
spine.
felt like he had like a cult. I don't know. It was he really made me angry at that chapter because like why
Yeah,
just because someone's a different color doesn't mean that they're going to commit a crime.
yeah.
So
So that was annoying. But
yeah, it was very annoying and it was just like it left you feeling gross because like there are people out there like that.
yeah, and just like oh, like why?
Like back off.
Yeah, people are crazy.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, so I guess to get more into detail about what happened. So we learn, I think around chapter 2, like the whole night that like everything kind of went down. So
Mhm.
the police questioned Sal, um, and he told the police that when that Friday night he was hanging out with his friends, and that he left around like 12:15 and walked home. But then his dad said that he confirmed that he arrived at home at 12:50 a.m. So no matter what happened, like he arrived at home 12:50 a.m. He was home.
Mhm.
And then apparently Sal had told all of his friends that to tell the police that he left at 12:15, but really he didn't leave at 12:15. He left at 10:30. And when the police confirmed like Sal's alibi with his friends, they're like, "Oh yeah, he left at 12:15." But then after a few days, I guess his friends like started to sweat, I guess, and they were like, "Okay, hold on, maybe I shouldn't just like be lying."
Mhm.
So they were like, "Yeah, we lied. Sorry." Like, whoops. And yeah, and they were like, "Oh, interesting." And then apparently Sal went MIA. And the Tuesday morning. So I guess everything went down on Friday night, and everyone realized that she was missing. I think she was reporting missing at like what, like 3 a.m. That like the Saturday, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess Tuesday morning it came out that he had a confession text to his father. And then Tuesday evening, the police found Sal's body. I guess because he committed suicide while they were searching for Andy.
Mhm. And this confession text, it was very strange.
Yeah,
It was so I'm gonna read this quote. It says, "It was me. I did it. I'm so sorry." And I think it was Ravi who said that like that's not him
yeah,
because like when we text we have a certain way where we text like we don't use punctuations, we don't use capitalizations. If you have your phone on auto
yeah.
capital,
It's like yeah, like auto capitalization or whatever.
yeah, whatever. So, like, by the way that this text was sent, it was definitely not Sal's texting it
Yeah,
because, like, he texted in a different way than the text showed.
yeah. And he said that he was very smart, but when he was texting, it's like it went out the window, and like he would just type like super fast, not
Mm-hmm.
using good grammar. I mean, it's like typical teenager. Like I feel like I text that too, text like
Exactly.
that too. So it's like it's very weird, very
Yeah,
suspicious.
it was very
Yeah,
suspicious. And then it was weird because, so back to Jason Bell.
yeah,
Um, so the reason why I think he has some part of this is because Like when Pip went to look back at interviews and stuff like that, Jason was acting in a very strange way. Like if the mother was texting, I mean not texting, if the mother was talking to like the microphone for the press conference or whatever, and then like if she said too much, Jason would like, nudge her and just tell her like you need to stop talking.
Yeah.
And then another big thing is I'm gonna say this quote. It says, Jason said, "We just want our girl back. We are completely broken and don't know what to do with ourselves. If you know where she is, please tell her to call home so we know she's safe." Andy was a huge presence in our home. It's too quiet without her.
Yeah.
So was like, I don't know, if my father found me missing, I don't think he would say that. But at the same time, like people cope in their own ways. So maybe that's just him
Yeah.
way of coping it.
Or maybe he's saying she was like just because she's obviously not in the house anymore, she's missing. But it's just I don't know. But even like other things he would say, it's like he would talk about her as if she was already dead. So
Mhm.
it's like, hold on, like keep the faith a little bit, like go on, like it's fine. Like
Yeah, it's just
it's
weird.
almost like he'd already accepted the fact that she was dead, which like usually other I feel like parents would be like they would not stop searching until they knew like for sure that she was gone.
Mhm.
Like usually parents like never stop searching, and it's just like they don't ever really accept the fact that their kid's gone if there's no actual like evidence that like they're dead or they're gone, you know.
Yeah, like she just went poof.
Yeah, literally it's disappeared.
Like the only evidence there was the blood in the car that
Yeah,
was like in the trunk of the car. It was Andy's blood, and then there was Sal's fingerprints all over the car. But at the same time, like that's her boyfriend, so of course his fingerprints
yeah,
is gonna be on there because
like probably he's probably in her car all the time.
exactly they're probably driving everywhere.
Yeah, so I guess that makes sense if he has like blood under his fingernails, whatever. But I feel like that could be explained by something else, and like I feel like something else could happen in between. I feel like there's not, and then if you don't even find her body at all,
Mhm.
like it's just like I feel like it would have been more if he actually did it.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like the police didn't really like thoroughly investigate this.
Yeah, even when she was talking to the journalist, she said that there was like a death note or like a death threat like in Andy's locker, and like it wasn't really investigated, and then all of a sudden she just like disappears and then it's on Sal. Also, like
Yeah.
why would he just leave a death note, like a death threat? Like that's his girlfriend. Like it's just very weird.
Yeah, and then also like so when Andy was first discovered missing, Sal would blow up her phone constantly. Like I think it was record that like he called over 300 times
Yeah.
like begging Andy to come home. So if he did it, then why would he call? Because like if you were to commit a crime, I'm not saying you should, don't do that. But if you were to,
Not giving him advice or anything, but
if you were to, you would want to like take the phone, you would want to delete everything that you do, like delete any record of you on her phone, but he didn't. So it's very strange that like I don't know, maybe he did it to prove his innocence, like say that, oh, I didn't do this because
yeah,
I called
but
this
I feel
much.
like that's so excessive.
It
And
is.
even the text just to Andy, like, please come home, like, whatever, like, I just want to know, like, I just want to know that you're safe. And he called, like, that's so excessive, calling that many times.
Mhm.
But even, and he would even do it when he was alone, not even when there was just people around. Like, he would just do it constantly. So it's like, I don't know, it's just weird. And even when she would interview his friends, so I guess she went to go interview one of his best friends, Naomi,
Mhm.
and girl's been through a lot because she lost her mom and then she lost her best friend within like a few years.
Mhm.
But I guess since this happened senior year, their senior year, this is like a few years in the future. I think it's like 5 years.
Yeah.
So she's already had graduated college, she had a job, but I guess she was having some trouble. So she just moved back home.
Mhm.
And her younger sister is actually best friends with Pip. So that's kind of how she knows her, and also how she knows that Naomi and Sal are best friends.
Mhm.
So basically, what she said in the interview was she described Andy as, quote, like a nightmare, which is kind of insane because everyone presumes that she's dead, which I mean, we haven't seen any evidence. I mean, we haven't really seen any evidence that she isn't dead. But we also haven't seen a lot of evidence that she is. It's like, whatever. But still, it's like, speaking ill of the dead is a little weird.
It is.
And she was not holding back at all. She wasn't even like, because of course, you know, you have your opinion of someone doesn't change once they die, but still, it's like, oh, all right, girl, not that serious.
Yeah, and then she would say that like Andy is bad news and stuff like that, and I'm like,
Yeah. It was like, maybe someone's jealous because
very
she
jealous.
wants to be with Sal. But her depiction or her description of that night when everything went down basically was that I guess they're hanging out, not doing anything special. I know they were drinking and they're just like playing video games, whatever.
Typical teenage party.
Yeah, taking some stupid pictures and putting them on like Facebook or whatever. Because that's what I think that's how Pippa realized like who was there that night and like who their friends were, who his friends were.
Mhm.
And Naomi said that Sal was acting like super strange, and that apparently that they'd had a disagreement and everything or something.
Mhm.
And she said that Sal left at 10:30, saying that he wasn't feeling well. He just wanted to call an early night, and he like peaced out. He left, and then Naomi and this other friend Millie, just all their friends pretty much, spent the night, and then they went to bed, whatever. And then late morning, she finds out Andy's missing, and she said she was like, "Oh, she probably just with some friends that we don't know about." She's like pretty popular, I guess. And then that's when he asked them to lie and say that she left at midnight or 12:15 because like, and his reasoning was because that since he was the boyfriend and like everything was going to be pinned on him and that he was going to be like the first suspect, and he said that he wanted to have like a good alibi so that they could push all their investigative type stuff off of him. So it's like that's also a little suspicious because then if he did do it, that's like a pretty good way to be like, no, I have a good
Yeah.
alibi. But also it's like if he didn't do it, or maybe he was an accomplice in some way, he has all this account like unaccounted time, and obviously he was alone because if he left at 10:30 p.m. and then even his dad confirmed he didn't come home until almost 1 o'clock in the morning, it's like, where were you? Like, what were you doing? So it's kind
Yeah,
of
and I'm
suspicious.
and like that's another thing. Like, why didn't Sal tell the police or anyone what he did during that time? Because it was never record what
Yeah,
he did. He just so that was a little bit weird. But from what it looks like, I feel like this suicide of Sal was not a suicide.
yeah. Like it
I
definitely
think
could have been like,
someone else because
yeah,
I think like from the text that he supposedly like texted, I feel like someone killed him and then pinned it on him.
yeah,
And I feel like if the person decided to kill Sal because he would break, he would say, "Oh yeah, I'm being blackmailed," or this person did it, stuff like that. So that's just really weird.
yeah. And then the next like super weird thing that happened is now she interviewed Naomi, and now she went to go interview this other friend Max. I guess they're at this friend Max's house the whole time. So he said that when his like I guess like he's like recounting the party, I guess, or when they're hanging out. And he said that Sal wasn't acting strange whatsoever. He was just a little quiet, which is pretty much opposite of what Naomi was saying. Naomi was like, he was acting super strange, super like suspicious, but he really wasn't.
Mhm.
And he said that Sal didn't even mention Andy at all, like whatsoever, which is super weird because Naomi was basically like, yeah, they were arguing and then he didn't feel well and he left. But then Max said that when he left, he didn't even say anything. He just kind of slipped out without anyone really noticing, and they're all too caught up on what they're doing to really notice. Or I guess they noticed later, like, oh, where's Sal? And he's just gone. But then Max also said that Naomi was MIA when they were playing video games, hanging out, and he just assumed that she had went upstairs or whatever. So it's like she was also just gone. And then we all know that she came back because they slept over.
Mhm.
But it's like, so she just like has this time. Nobody knew where she was. I mean, she could have been anywhere in the house, but also it's like it's not her house. It's not like she can just walk around, go to her room, or I don't know.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's like
just weird.
she just like leaves the hangout to like go be alone. Like I don't get that. That makes no
If
sense.
if she wanted to be alone, then why would she want to go to a party?
Yeah, like that doesn't really make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's weird. The whole thing is very weird. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. But earlier, before we mentioned about like theories that Pip has.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna read my notes because I don't know the theories by my
Yeah.
head. So she has four theories. She thinks the first one, someone killed Andy, but Sal helped,
Yeah.
and it made him so guilty that he just decided to kill himself.
Yeah.
The second theory is someone killed Andy, but Sal didn't know, so he killed himself out of stress.
Yeah.
Because, like, losing the person that you love very much is
Yeah.
very hard.
Yeah.
So, because, like, you feel alone in a way.
Yeah.
So, the third one is Andy was killed, and that person planted evidence on Sal and killed him to make it seem like a guilt like suicide.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, my bet is on that, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of that one's like yeah. I mean, it's definitely the most like complicated one and like kind of crazy and like, but also like that makes kind of sense to me because I mean, if Sal didn't do it, then it's like
Hmm.
maybe someone killed Andy and then the killer was like, "You know what? This would be a good cover up to have Sal be the killer
Hmm.
because it's like
Yeah, and then the last theory is that Andy isn't dead. She faked
yeah.
everything and she decided to kill Sal, which I kind of feel like that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if they were this loving, happy couple, as everyone says, why, what motive would she have to kill Sal?
I don't know. But I mean, maybe because also it's like her body has never been found. So it's like she
Hmm.
real and then she just went completely off the grid, just completely just like missing. I mean, she
Hmm.
could have done that. Really. Like even if she like changed her appearance or like the police wouldn't really look anywhere like except the surrounding area really.
Yeah.
So it's like she could have gone across the country, a different country, like she really could have gone anywhere. So it's like you never
Do
know.
you think she went with that mystery man?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. That's like another like part of it that Pip finds out that it's like this whole like mystery like older guy.
Sugar daddy? I
Yeah.
mean, hey, if you want to have a sugar daddy, that's fine. But like, leave
Mhm.
everything behind and just to go with him? I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Cuz it is like really weird how she just had this secret like older guy that she was seeing. And like maybe he had a lot of money, but also like her parents were also pretty rich too. So it's not like
They
she was
were.
in need of money, but I
But
don't know.
maybe her parents are like, oh, like, I'm not going to give you money.
Yeah.
And Andy was like, I'm going to get money my own way. But I feel like there's safer ways to get money. Like, just get a job.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like super weird. Like
It
she could have
is.
gone off with this guy, or maybe the guy is the one who killed Sal. Maybe he got jealous. Maybe he was like, "No, like I want you for myself," and he like took Andy away, and then
Mm,
killed Sal, made it look like a suicide, and just like completely covered it up.
maybe.
Because that also could have happened.
But like so I'm a very much fan of like true crime, mystery kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love those. I feel like the person that's like the most chill, that's not suspected, is always the killer.
Yeah.
So, but like I don't know who because like we only read the first part, so we don't know the rest of the three
Yeah.
parts. So, it's the whole thing's very suspicious and yeah.
Yeah. I just don't really get like if Sal was so like he had no idea that Andy was going missing. And I guess maybe they were in like a little bit of an argument before cuz even when Pip got a hold of his phone through his younger brother Ravi, it said that like he was kind of texting her and he was saying that he was like I'm not talking to you until you've stopped. So it's like were they fighting about something? Was she planning on just like completely leaving and like planning her whole like missing persons thing? But
Oh
even
yeah.
after he was texting like come home, everyone's worried, and it's like why would he do that? I mean, unless he knew the police would look at his phone, but still, it just like it doesn't really make a lot of
It
sense.
doesn't add up.
Yeah. But there's also so much time unaccounted for when he just like left the party. and then Andy was also gone, and like she was seen leaving her house like around the same time that Sal was leaving the party. So it's like, did they plan to meet up, or like maybe he was a part of it and he was there, or maybe he watched it all go down. But also, if it's like, if the theory is that he watched it all go down and like maybe he's trying to find her or something, like I
Yeah.
don't know. But then he wouldn't be like, oh, just come home or like tell me you're safe. So it's like, do they even see each other? Like, it's just there's so many different components to it. They like you don't
There's
even
so many
know.
questions. That's what it is. There's
Yeah,
like we have so many questions. Like what even happened
yeah.
and who did it and why? Like, do you think this is a jealousy kind of thing or a crime of passion?
I don't know. I mean, if it's the secret older guy, then maybe he could have been jealous and was just like, no, I want you for myself, and then he just like killed Sal
Mhm.
after that. I don't know. But then it
But
was,
if he did it, then why would he kill Andy? If he
yeah,
because like if he's jealous of Sal, why didn't he just kill Sal and not kill Andy?
yeah. But it's like we don't even know Annie's dead yet. Like we can only assume, but there's no concrete evidence. Like they found her body or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's still weird how Sal had like the blood in his fingernails. Like where did that come from? And I mean that doesn't mean death. I mean she could have gotten hurt and he could have had her blood under his fingernails. But still, it's just the whole situation. Like I feel like I have so many questions unanswered. And so
Mhm.
many of the theories, like some of them make sense to a certain extent. But then it's like, okay, does this really make that much sense? But what was really weird and off putting was when Pip was going on her little like trip with her friends, or not trip, like a little camping thing
Which is
before.
completely normal.
Yeah,
Do you even camp nowadays?
I don't know. I feel like people don't do that anymore.
I, I
People
don't think
don't.
so.
But I kind of enjoy camping. I tried to do like a
I hate
camping
it.
thing for my birthday once, and it was literally we put a tent in my backyard, and that was it. And I just had my friends over. And then one of my friends saw a bug, so she went inside and slept in my guest room.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But anyway, they saw this like figure in the woods, and all her friends were like, "What in the world? Like, what is that? Like, imagine you're trying to camp and you're in the woods, you just see a figure. Like, that's your
I
worst
would I
fear."
would run as fast. Oh my god. I
Yeah,
would literally I would disappear in a
yeah.
second.
Because usually that's like an irrational fear, not like
Yeah.
it actually happens. But then when they're like running around, they're trying to chase after this guy and try to like chase him away, and then they lost him, and then everyone just ends up leaving their little campsite. And when they come back, Pip goes in her sleeping bag and she finds a note that's
Mhm.
like stop digging and like stop like trying to solve this murder. So it's like, hold on, like
Like
what's going on here? And that was super weird. And she thought it was a joke from her friends, but then they were like, they were genuinely confused, and they were like, that was not us, and like we didn't do that.
yeah, that was
So I thought that was super freaky.
it was.
So now it's like, okay, so now honestly, I feel like Ravi, or not Ravi, Sal is completely, I feel like out of the picture. Like I don't think he did it, and like
No.
maybe I don't know, but also, I mean, maybe he could have been an accomplice to it too.
Maybe.
But it's like, then why was he like, oh, let me know you're safe, and like really like not knowing, like having no knowledge that she went missing at all.
Mhm.
But there's just so much like unexplained. Like I'm sure there could be a completely reasonable explanation, but what was with the blood? And like maybe he was there and he watched it, he tried to stop it or something, but then after, and then it's like, how is he like, oh, are you okay, are you safe, or like come home? So
His
none of it
actions
really
do
makes sense.
like his actions don't show that he did it, but at the same time like a lot of people who commit crime, they always act in a way that like you're so
Yeah,
convinced that he didn't do it, but like honestly, he didn't do it. I don't think he did.
yeah. Because then why, like, I guess so whoever did it is probably so close by, because it's like, why would they just be like, stop digging? Because
Mhm.
clearly like she's like getting close, or like getting to the bottom of it, or she's just, or or whoever did it knows that eventually she's gonna get to the bottom of it.
Obviously.
So it's like, how is she supposed to, oh, that's just so weird.
Like Pip is very determined to get this
Yeah,
straight.
yeah,
And she will she I mean she went as far as catfishing
Yeah, like her friends to like find out what she did.
Yeah,
When
to Andy's friends. So it was like she's very determined to see like who did this and get like justice.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so clearly whoever did it is still around. Which also, if you did something huge like that, why wouldn't you just leave? Like, why are you sticking
exactly.
around? Go across the country, whatever. But clearly, someone doesn't want her to find out what happened. So I don't think Sal did it at all.
I don't think either. Mm-mm. I don't. He just doesn't seem like the person that would do that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah,
so. So should we end with this question?
yeah.
Like, who left the note?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like it's someone completely different than we've seen before. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's a character that like we've met yet or that
Hmm.
we know anything about yet.
Yeah.
I think it's someone, and I mean, and clearly it's not Sal because he's obviously dead. So
Yeah, but also like, what is it called? Sorry, I'm having like a brain fart. Yeah. So like, if this person came into the woods, how would he know that Pip and her friends are camping?
yeah, so it's like obviously he's like been watching her, and also how would they know that Pip was also doing this project?
Yeah.
Like unless he saw her like hanging around with Ravi and like I guess doing research and like talking to a bunch of people, or maybe it is someone we've talked to already, because then it's like how would they know that she was digging for it
It has to be
unless she'd
someone really
already talked to
close.
them? Yeah, so it's like how would they know? I don't know, it's just weird.
It is very weird. It's very strange.
Yeah,
And yeah, so we're going to leave that question up to you. And if you want to find out, then you're going to have to come and watch part 2 of this little podcast
yeah.
funsies.
Where we just uncover the next part of the book and get all our new information and reassess. And maybe we're gonna look back on our old theories or like who we thought it was and be like, oh no, like of course not. Like it
Like,
was not
no,
them.
that wasn't that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening.